Welcome to the International Classroom Podcast, where we explore the world of education through a global lens. As a teacher, you know that every student has unique needs, experiences, and perspectives, and we believe that a global perspective is key to creating an inclusive and effective classroom. In each episode, we bring you insights and discussions from experts and educators around the world, sharing their experiences, challenges, and solutions in the classroom. Whether you're a student, a teacher, or anyone interested in education, we invite you to join us on this learning journey. Now, before we get into today's episode, make sure to follow us on your favorite streaming sites to stay up to date on our latest episodes. If you're watching this on Deep Teaching on YouTube and you've yet to, please subscribe. We've been fortunate enough to have some fantastic guests on, so please do share this with your colleagues and friends and let us know who you'd like us to speak with next.
My arms are too comfortable on these new chairs.
They are the comfiest chairs, aren't they?
Nice chairs, these.
Yeah, we are here to talk about like education, aren't we? Rather than should bring Kerry in for interior design.
I'm going to educate people on how comfortable these chairs are.
You're not going to fall asleep, are you?
No. I got some sleep last night. The dog was not barking all through the night, which was fantastic news.
Great news. You can tell us more about that because you always start off, how you doing?
How am I doing?
This comes to one of our unresolved questions.
Yeah, we can start off with our unresolved questions. How's
the move gone, Drew?
Well, it has been a story. So we moved house out of the beautiful house that so many people have said how nice my garden was. So Thank you for that. From that very first episode where we did it in the garden and the birds were tweeting in the background, it was really difficult for you to edit with.
It was all good. Everyone loved it. Showed off Dubai.
Yeah, it was lovely. And then we moved way out into the desert. And we have not enjoyed living in the desert. So we lived there for a week. Yeah. Then we had a flood. Somehow we had a flood in the desert. 1.5 foot of water. Doggy paddling around the living room. So that's pretty rough. And then the drive is just too far to and from work. So we got quite lucky because our contract, the company that we were renting with, said, "You've had a lot of problems here, haven't you?" You know, there's a lot more than just the flood. There is like grouting issues, things like that. It's not a great, well-made house, should we say. So they said, "Oh, you've had a lot of problems. What do you want to do?" We said we want to leave. So they managed, within a week, we decided we were going to leave. Got the contract rescinded. Yeah. Got the contract all sorted, cancelled. And we have found a new place to live, which is much closer, and it's actually across the road from where we used to live. So
I'm going to say, in a roundabout way, you've moved a stone's throw across.
Yep.
That is the joys, trials and tribulations of living in Dubai, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those. But you're sorted now.
Yeah, we're very, very happy with the new place. So we've not moved in just yet. We will be moving in on Thursday. So when this comes out, I'll probably have
when it comes out, you'll already be in there. Yeah.
I'll be in there. Oh, I'm excited.
New place, housewarming pie.
Yeah.
Times 2 to make up for the other one.
Well, we're trying to organise a house cooling party, are we?
Yeah. That's a story for another time. Another time. So the purpose of this episode, end of season.
Yeah, round off the year.
Because we are breaking up for summer and we're going to go off and do our travels and enjoy a well-deserved rest. So it makes sense.
Me too, yeah.
A great opportunity to reflect on our 6 months. That's what it's been.
Yes, it's been 6 months and we're on episode 15
I think this is episode 15, end of season 1. I know, yeah. It's who thought we would have got this far? None of us. None of us ever did.
The viewers.
Hopefully. Thank you, viewers.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support. You love just having a camera, straight down camera to look at, don't you?
It's kind of almost how I imagine Eamon Holmes was.
I was going to say more like Ron Burgundy. Hey, San Diego. Or is it Stay Classy, San Diego? Stay classy, San Diego.
I was thinking more 60% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah, Sex Panther.
Brilliant.
Great film.
So that brings me, one unresolved question complete. Brings me to an unresolved question for you.
Yeah.
How did everything work out with the
Oh yeah,
on
we
the
said
job
last time. Not in a good way, unfortunately.
Oh man.
I know. All right to talk about it. It's one of those. It was only an acting position, like you're going into yourself. But it's context, isn't it? In terms of they want someone to replace, similar. And the way I look at it is like they want X, I offered Y. And that's okay. It's context for a lot of schools in terms of you could be amazing at something, but you still have to fit into that organization, don't you? And it's not saying I don't, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that. There's things on the horizon, it's doing things, aren't we? And
exciting opportunities.
Exciting opportunities, yes. I have just launched sort of courses for Deep Professional. So first school has come out, first course has gone out, resources there. So
I've got to say, they are pretty good.
Thank you.
As a beta tester, should we say?
I'd like to think it's got better since then as well.
Yeah. From what?
But yeah, so that's there, and it makes sense now to kind of cut to the giveaway.
Perfect timing.
We have an exciting announcement as we wrap up our first season and embrace the summer holidays. We want to show our appreciation for your incredible support, and we're giving away 3 course bundles from Deep Professional. Now, these course bundles will give you exclusive access to our Getting Started with ChatGPT course, where you'll learn all about using ChatGPT, and our brand new TPAC e-resource packed with information and guiding questions to get you thinking about if, how, and when you use AI in your teaching. Now let's get into how you can enter this amazing giveaway. Now we've made it super easy for you to participate. All you need to do is follow these 3 simple steps on our YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify channels. Step 1 is subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode or update. Step 2, follow us on Instagram and like our giveaway post and leave a comment. Step 3, follow our podcast on Spotify and leave a comment as well. We love hearing from you, and your feedback means the world to us. Now, the comment we are looking for is why you're excited to win one of our Deep Professional course bundles. Tell us how this giveaway would benefit you and what you're looking forward to learning from the course and the e-resource. And that's it. By completing these 3 simple steps on YouTube, Instagram, and on Spotify, you're going to be entered in a chance to win one of the 3 amazing course bundles from Deep Professional. Thank you once again for your incredible support throughout our first season. We're massively grateful to have such an amazing community of listeners. Now, the giveaway deadline is the 25th of July, so make sure to complete the steps before then, and we will announce the lucky winners on the 1st of August, so stay tuned. So yeah, that's going to be the giveaway. So excited about that. And all the opportunities that come with that, and different things that come with it. I think we spoke about it, didn't we? Opportunity to practice what you've got experience, what you've got expertise in. So it's an opportunity doing that, which would be great. So yeah, it's kind of one door closes, another one opens. Is that the same?
I think in Dubai, it's kind of different to that. It's when one door closes, a few doors open. You've kind of, because you think, oh, well, maybe that's not the right path for me. But there are so many opportunities here, particularly, that if that opportunity is gone and you know, okay, that's not happening. Maybe it's not happening this time. Maybe it's not happening in this place, or maybe it's not happening at this time in my life. But there's so much going on in Dubai, especially on the PD and CPD front and in the teaching world. And
if I wasn't teaching internationally, I don't know if I would have gone down the same route of doing things like the podcast for this, for example, or the YouTube things, or everything else that we do. I think this place that you're in, and for those listening, if you move to here, if you're already here, it has a huge amount of opportunity, doesn't it? And there's lots of people doing all these things that kind of just inspires you to then go, right, let's get up and go, let's get up and do these things. So yeah, that's down that one. And I think there's lots to talk about in the future regarding that, and hopefully it'll pull some more people into the podcast and opportunities that come with it as well. So yeah, as I say, one door closes, several more open.
Yeah. I think on what you were saying there as well, I think a lot of it comes down to the amount of time you've got.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we don't spend every single night working till 8 p.m. marking books, deadlines to meet. We have the half day Fridays, or if you're in Sharjah, you lucky devils, just a 4-day working week.
Yep.
Then that extra time affords you the opportunity to be able to go and do these extra things. So having that extra time opens even more doors for you and allows you to be able to take your passions to the next level.
Yeah, it allows me to spend maybe some more time on the podcast.
Yeah.
Speaking about that, what's if we're reflecting on it, what have you taken away from this season? What have you enjoyed?
This season, it's got to be the guests that you've had on.
You've not been on any of them.
I've not actually. I get kept in the cupboards when the guests come on. I'm like, you don't want to meet him. Yeah. Keep this little goblin away from the real professionals and just here to smile.
Yeah, that's it. To balance out where we are from the country, aren't we?
Yeah.
Bring that northern twang in.
That's it.
Guest-wise then, tell me which has been one of your favourite guests.
I've got to say, listening to Joyce talk about andragogy and where I'm heading in my own career, I think Joyce was very much the person that spoke to me in a future forward planning, forward thinking way, thinking about how you can get adults to learn, how you can get people to, take your vision on board and take it forward, and using those skills, I think, is the biggest thing that I'm going to take forward is, some fantastic guests on. The guys from Real Fast Reports, they were a lifesaver. I've got to say thank you if you're listening, because I ended up using their services to write my reports.
We've used it for the science department just gone as well. Yeah, and the whole team are like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
and I'm seeing them, like Peter and Angela. I've seen them now a few more podcasts, a few more things, and really getting the recognition for it as well.
Yeah, so that's brilliant. And Peter, thank you for sending me some extra credits on the. Have you tried the report checker for them?
No, I haven't yet.
So the biggest thing, it's looking like we're moving away from written reports next year.
Yeah,
because of the workload not the workload of writing them. Writing them was great. Writing them actually reduced the time. But it was the checking of the reports and making sure that there were no inconsistencies between. So if we're using School's Report Writer as well.
Okay.
It's a free service if you just Google School Report Writer. It's like an Excel sheet that you sent me actually, and I adapted. But that was another way we were doing it. And then there was inconsistencies here and there. So it took an awful lot of time to read through all those reports as a SLT or academic leadership team, and making sure that everything was he, she, his, hers was all perfect, and because we're sending it out to the parents. So the check-in process was taking a long time. Now I got given a stack of...
I checked,
a stack of papers to check, and said, I'll take these home over the weekend. Downloaded them off the Excel file, uploaded them to Real Fast Reports, not exam checker, Real Fast Reports report checker, and was done in about 15 minutes and checked everything for me. I was like, this is brilliant.
How accurate was it?
Yeah, pretty accurate. Yeah.
Amazing.
Like very accurate. Came up with a few suggestions. And what's really cool is you could just copy. So if you upload it as an Excel sheet, you could just copy the cell from it, direct off it, and then paste it in. So if it was just one little mistake and you had we had quite lengthy reports, 1,000 characters, and globalization autocorrects every time to a Z instead of an S, but we're British curriculum school, so we have to use the S's. And I just missed one. And I was like, I've missed it here, and I've missed it here, and I've missed it here. Copied it across, job done.
Amazing. So there's that one. Yeah, going back to, I forgot to mention it before we skipped across Joyce.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No. I was speaking to her recently about trying to get her out to Dubai to lead, to actually do a course. Amazing. So if anyone is interested in getting Joyce Matthews, a world-renowned, award-winning facilitating coach, out to Dubai, let me know. You can contact me. But yeah, it'd be amazing. So she's one. And then Sumbella, who we had on recently. Yeah. She's very similar to her in terms of that PD she delivered. Yeah. A lot of good. A lot of people liked that episode in terms of stats guy here, but lots of good feedback and interest from her in terms of her knowledge base. Really, really good. Really enjoyable for her first podcast as well.
Yeah, and I've got to say, she had a very lucky experience of what the podcasting world is like. It wasn't sat in my old bedroom, nice studio and good lighting.
Setting high expectations here. Yeah. This is the reason why we are in this studio today for me and you, is because you are moving and your house is... Yeah, so we justify that one. That was great. Learned a lot from. Loved having Philip Ride, and that's because we just also had the esports conference. Was it last weekend here in Dubai?
Yeah.
There was some. Was it this
weekend? Last weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one just gone. That was amazing. Like, and now just seeing how esports is coming in. We were at a talk, the Collab UAE guys, and Baz was on there. What he'd done, like with the Lamborghini car, going around the different schools. If you've seen that, like, big into esports. You've got Mark Ryan, who's at Talim down in Raha, launching theirs.
Yep.
It's like, I think next year you're going to see a lot more schools really advertising and going with esports. It's got me thinking about, right, should we be introducing something at our school as well? For those kids that don't necessarily, as an ECA, want to do sport or music
especially
drama.
As you guys have STEAM as a lesson, don't you?
Yeah,
Do you still have? Is that still the case?
Yeah,
So STEAM instead of IT or
so it kind of combines the design, technology, and IT into it.
So we have DT. We don't really have the STEM side of it, or rather, a lot of ours is to do with 3D printing and digital design that we very much focus on. But when I worked at the first school I worked in Dubai, they had an esports ECA. Now this is nearly 10 years ago, so it was quite early on. But the esports was more gaming side of things. It was very much. I remember the guy, the head of it, and I actually think the current head of IT listens. So, hey, if you're listening, you know who you are. He lives opposite me in my current house, actually, which is quite funny. So if he didn't know who he was and now he's thinking, hey, is that me? Yeah, it's you. I won't say his name because I'm embarrassed. But his predecessor was just a big gamer and basically just said, we're doing esports. And I just played League of Legends as his ECA for a good 2 years.
If you can, why not?
If you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Clever.
I'd love to bring something in. Next, maybe we're thinking about. I'm going to reach out, get some more context of how to do it properly.
Yeah,
but I think that'll be a worthwhile one. But yeah, there's just very thankful. I think for all the guests that we've had on, we've had quite a few.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some we've not mentioned there, but thank you to you as well. Yeah,
no, last one, this episode, it's about Julie, like Julie Keys, coaching wise. I feel about coaching, like have her on and talk. I think that's really insightful. And then the guy, George from Mind Your Health Limited.
Mental health.
Again, see a lot more of him next year. I think it's just great in terms of all these people globally. And I think it shows then about Dubai and the UAE as a whole as a teaching hub, as in the quality of education that we get here. In terms of those individuals we have coming out to work with the schools. I think that kind of shows sort of the quality that we've got, not just teachers, but also the quality of education that the country offers. Yeah, and they want to be the best, don't they? The education, KHDA, the Ministry of Education, they want to be the forefront of learning, so they're quite happy to get people out who are experts in the field. And I think there's so much competition between schools here that if you're not offering that, if you're not offering the best training for your teachers, then the teachers can't be offering the best education. So yeah, and parents will, what was it say? They vote with their feet, don't they? Yeah. Like even from our school, like we have every year, every term, there is a list that comes out of leavers and joiners, and it's a transient place. Like kids do move, go home, travel to different countries, and then some do go to schools in Dubai, and it's the same with teachers. And you always look at that and go, you do your exit interviews. What are you doing? You're staying in the country or moving to another school, and it's always the why. Yeah. When we go through those, neither of us are moving anywhere next year. No. So none of those exit interviews. But there are going to be a big influx of teachers coming into the country, aren't there? Yeah, I think there's been a big shift of a lot of teachers leaving Dubai this year because of the change in rental prices. Yeah. And I think that's hit a lot of people who were maybe on the edge. And I had my conversation with my head a couple of days ago, maybe last week. And he was basically saying everyone here has a certain amount of money that they are putting away every month. And if you're not putting away that amount of money, then what's the point in living here? Yeah. Because the lifestyle isn't as great as it could be somewhere else where maybe the salaries are a little higher and the extra stuff is a little cheaper. Yeah. So to do things in Dubai, we get good salaries. But to do things here is quite expensive as well. Yeah. Whereas you can go to places where the salaries are comparable, but then it is a
lower cost of living. People like the draw of Dubai being very, brunch vibes, or whether it's there's loads to do for the family, loads to do for the kids. There is that. But I think this year, with the change in rental prices, that has forced people to look elsewhere. And then that's people who have become accustomed to the lower rent prices over COVID, and people who have had, myself included, having big villas, maybe have to go to smaller villas or move to apartments.
But even that, I mean, I remember the cost of our villa even before COVID. And it's now 50, 60, 100,000 dirham more than what it was pre-COVID. So everyone's going, oh, well, the rent prices were cheaper there, and 7-8 years ago it may have been. It's like, well, actually, 5 years ago when I was renting mine, it's like cost a hell of a lot less than what it does right now. So it's definitely, we've spoke about before, haven't we? Like the pricing part. So these teachers coming in, if you're getting, going into staff accommodation, a lot more schools now, are building and offering and have their own, towers, complexes to put a staff up into. And it's like,
and that's great, because it's like being back at uni if you're...
to some extent, I mean, families, it's hard. And so you can see the other side of the coin. You see the other side of it and go, oh, I want this, I want that. It's like, but the cost of those things is
higher. So for those, that kind of brings us on to a point we wanted to talk about, which was any advice for people who are moving out in August, and thinking very much along the lines of, Dubai is a fairly expensive place to live. The salaries are good, but it is expensive as well. Yeah. So just don't, if you're young, especially, and this is some advice from someone who came out here very, very young. If you are very young and you don't really have a concept of how much things cost or how much living on your own is going to cost and things like that, just be very cautious is what I would say.
And it's even that about setting up a new home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to get your TV, potentially get all those furnishing decorations, all these different things, and it's rationalizing the spend of stuff. How much money are you bringing out with you? The chances that you might not get a salary at the end of August from your school, you have to wait all the way through to September.
And you want to do all the start of year brunches. You want to do all the get to know you things, like going out for bowling, or even these little things. They all cost, we would say 100 dirhams. Now 100 dirhams, when you say 100 dirhams, it's not a lot, or it doesn't, I don't think of it as a lot of money, but it's 20 quid, 23 pound. You put that into context. When I was working in the UK, I'm like, that's actually, to go bowling.
And then you say to someone, oh, should we go and get a drink? And it's 50 dirham.
Yeah, that's a tenner.
Yeah.
£11. And you think, oh, and then when you're first here, and again, speaking from experience, don't just rush into getting everything and doing everything straight away. You're here for a year or 2 years or 10 years. You'll get the opportunity to do it all. Just take your time. Don't rush into things.
And it's hard to say it because people are always eating pulses and see all these other things for people who have been here a long time or are two wages. Like two wages. Two wages combined, and that makes a massive difference. If you're out here on your own on just a teacher's wage, and depending on where you're starting, you could be from 12 to 16, 18,000 dependent. Like, you've really got to manage that money really well, because otherwise, money's cheap. Credit cards, debts, all those things, it's easy to get into, and then you'll spend the next 5 years, 6 years just trying to dig yourself out of that.
Exactly.
So for those people coming out here, finances, definitely one thing to be thinking of. In terms of what they bring with them, like, actually, I remember what we brought. I think I traveled over with 2 suitcases, and one of those was just full of cables and tech stuff for me. And then we got other ones put on Emirates Sky Cargo.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
It was just because it arrived, and when it got it the next day, like in a taxi, went up to the airport, paid for that. But in terms of what you bring, it's like, teachers wise, it's difficult, because it's like, do you want to bring all your notes?
Do you bring books? Do you bring textbooks? Do you bring resources?
Yeah, I think most people now are digital resources. You can print everything here dead easily.
And most schools have resource banks. So for me, I was like, oh, do I need to take clinometers? Do I need to take... No, because your school have them.
Yeah, exactly. Buy them. It's more just like, I want to take my PlayStation 5 with me.
That's exactly, I was going to say, my suitcase was a few pairs of shorts, socks,
no suits.
T-shirts, no suits, no suits, no ties, my PlayStation, a few PlayStation games, and that was it.
Yeah.
Because I moved out from my mum and dad's house. So I lived at my mum and dad's in the UK.
Yeah.
And just moved here from...
Yeah, straight into it.
Set up. So I had no picture frames, no chairs in the apartment I moved into. There was a bed.
Yeah.
I remember a good friend of mine, I think he also listens, who you know, a young geography teacher that we used to work with, you know. He moved out here in a very similar situation to me. And he bought his TV stand from IKEA. Never set up the TV stand, just left it in the box and put his TV on the box.
I never knew that about him.
Yeah, so he used to go around to his house and be like, that's a good TV stand, that, but are you going to set it up? And he was like, no, because it's taller when it's in the box than what it would have been when he set it up. It was more convenient for him to play PlayStation.
Fair enough. Yeah, I remember walking in. I was like, I flew out without carrying the kids to set up because Livy was like, I flew out August 20th. Bear in mind, Liv was born July the 7th. So it's like, right, let me go set up because it wouldn't have a cot in there. You know, didn't have anything the girls needed, anything. So I took the first couple of weeks doing that, and then Kerry flew out with the girls and my mum and sister. And I got everything sorted. And I remember what everything cost, like buying cots, because your schools won't provide you with those things, kids' beds. Wasn't that? And then
like a bed, table, maybe a microwave, fridge and cooker,
basics.
Yeah,
I went in. I think I walked in, and on the desk in the living room there was a Time Out magazine for Abu Dhabi. It's like, and I'm sure it was the wrong date as well. But yeah, I think it's that come with low expectations. It's one of those things about expectations, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like just come with that, and you're not going to be disappointed, and just know, right, if there's nothing there, I've got to be sensible.
Everything else you get, just pure bonus. You know, if you get knives and forks, excellent.
Happy days if they've not been used before as well. If they're fresh. Yeah, exactly. So those are the people moving out, and we look forward to meeting you and seeing you.
Please let us know if you are moving out here and you would like us for the new season for any specific advice we could give listeners, things that you might want us to talk about, or drop us a message.
Yeah, and share your experiences, even for the older teachers that are here. It's like in the comments, it's that part of the community here in terms of just sharing that advice and things. If you were to offer your younger self some advice about when you moved out, key points, that would definitely be well worthwhile. Absolutely. So, but it brings down that looking ahead for next season. I know it'll be in the new year. My
goggles on, my future goggles.
What do we want to do next season?
Well, this is kind of going off what we were talking about earlier, but I used to have this saying when I was first moved out here. I'd say, it's future Drew's problem. And it was kind of well known that was a phrase that I would use between my circle of friends when I first moved out here, and between our circle of friends now. I think it still gets brought up every now and then.
Yeah.
Now living as future Drew, past Drew was a nightmare. He was so thinking of future Drew now as a wiser, not too much older, but slightly older. I mean, I do feel old nowadays.
Not that old though.
But we were talking about ages earlier, weren't we? And
next season.
Next season is the big one.
It is the big one. I was speaking with Kerry about it actually recently. I was like, I think I've got a rough idea what I want to do, but I think I'm going to hire it's like a proper film crew and photographer to come and just capture everything.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Wait, you sure?
Yeah, I know what I want to do. I don't know what you're thinking of. But just for those memories and keepsakes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So if you are listening and you want to come and photograph or videography my 40th birthday in February, again, quick shout out there. But yeah, future Drew. So
future Drew, thinking about what the next season holds for me. Well, I'll be stepping into a role that I've never done before. So I think we've spoken about this already. So I won't go into the details. If you are interested in what's happening in future Drew's life, then listen to our last. Yeah, everyone's interested. Listen to past Drew talk about future Drew. But no, I'm really looking forward to starting a new role and seeing. We've just hired a really solid team. We went for a bit of a night out the other night as a team, and the guys I've in my humanities team for next year, I'm really looking forward to working with. A bit of a younger team, than what I've previously worked with. This is kind of a hand-picked, I've chosen these people because of, I'm not saying they're not good teachers as teachers go, teachers are teachers. That's great. Yeah. Some are better than others. There might be, but as people that will gel within a team that I want to lead, this is why they have been chosen for this role. And I think going back to what you were saying before, my vision for the department and my vision for the way that this goes might not be the way everyone would see a department in a school going. I'm making it sound terrible here, aren't I? Yeah. This is a big gamble.
Everyone's going to be like, can I renege on this contract now?
No. So, I'm looking forward to working with the guys there. I really enjoyed working at my last school with you guys because I was working with some of my best friends.
Yeah.
I used to go to work every single day with one of my best friends, 2 of my best friends, 3 of my best friends. We still all hang out now. It's great. That's, I'm not saying I've only hired them because they're my friends, but because I didn't know them until this process. But it's more about making sure that the team gels in such a small school and a growing school. Everyone's got to kind of have each other's back, make sure that.
Yeah, we've said that throughout these episodes, haven't we? We've discussed about the right people on the bus.
Exactly.
You go back about everything we've talked about. And, and I said this to Kerry the other day, and I probably said it to you before, but I have 4 groups of people. And even I took it from a sporting context. So Alex Ferguson's chief scout.
Oh, are you going to talk about zombies?
Kind of, yeah.
Shepherds, sheep, zombies and corpses.
Yeah, but they're not zombies, they're terrorists.
Terrorists.
Yeah. And it's the same with that. When you hire someone, when you're looking at a point, and we talk about context, you've got to fit in. It's like the type of person you're going to get. And it's like, right, are you actually a sheep? Are you a shepherd? Are you kind of that area in between, as in the ones who are going to do something and contribute? Are you the person who's a bit of a corpse, as in actually nothing against you teaching, come in, job gets done, but in terms of contribution, all these other things, it's like you don't offer anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was something on social media recently about that in terms of, do you want someone who comes up, great teacher, but doesn't offer anything versus the one who sort of wants to do everything, but maybe isn't as good? So that's the one. Yeah. And then the terrorists are the ones who just mess everything up for you.
Yeah, negative Nancy's.
Drains, as Clive Woodward said. You get radiators and drains,
Radiators and drains.
Yeah. And that's it. So I get what you're saying in terms of, if you're getting to handpick them, you need to get the mesh of personality and sort of mindset, work ethic, all those types of things. Because those are the parts, as you say, that you can't teach, you can't train or professionally develop in people per se. The rest of it, okay, I'd take someone who's got the right mindset and work ethic and approach, and a so-so teacher, to someone who doesn't have those but is a great teacher, because for me can work on those things. The teaching part, because none of us were great teachers when we started.
No, and that's it. We've hired a very young team this year, and I'm not saying that any of them are not good teachers. I don't know, because interviews, things like that, you can't tell. So it's very much how you come across in that initial conversation. And we've had a fair few meetings now with the new people coming in, and it seems great. Like I'm actually really, not as much as I'm looking forward to my holiday plans, don't get me wrong, but I am really looking forward to working next year. I'm kind of looking forward to going back in August, September and getting ready for the year, and it just...
Future Drew, that's too far ahead. Let's just get summer. We want summer first.
Yeah.
So that's going to be one of your tales of leadership for you and the development there.
Absolutely. How about you?
So mine,
future Alex.
Yeah, future me is going to be to do with, I think, obviously running the professional development side. So my side hustle, I think going with that, talk a lot about that on the podcast, but more collaborations. So not giving too much away. We'll do a season, we'll do a trailer, we'll come towards, but we've already had a few people confirm, and that we're going to be doing stuff starting from August. And then obviously with the new teachers coming in. So a lot more collaborations in store, people here, and trying to get more, again, international. So we started off with, didn't we? When we started this off, we said we want to UAE, Dubai.
Yeah. And
yet, like, I think people we've spoken to, it's like, it has an irrelevant international feel. So my aim is to then try and find, if you're a teacher, by the way, it says looking down the camera now, Singapore, Hong Kong, or anywhere else in the world. I've just gone with sort of the biggest hubs.
Yeah.
that we know of in terms of where people move to here. But if you're in any of these countries and you want to come on and talk about the experience of what it's like to teach internationally in your country, in your school, give us a shout out, because I was looking at the stats of where we get people listening from. And okay, we've got the US, we've got UK, then you've got here, and then you've got Australia, we've got Canada, some areas across Europe as well. So there's a real dichotomy of teachers, international teachers. So I'd be really interested to hear from you, and that's it for the next season, is to try and incorporate more international. So that's my message down the camera to you guys, is get in contact with us if you want to come on and talk about your experience of teaching internationally. So the side, and back to then the side hustle, side project, as it were. So you're going to see a lot more from Deep Professional. We spoke about that in terms of courses, in terms of videos, in terms of trying to get some more contributors like yourself and some other people to write and do for us. So yeah, that's my big push for next year as well. So we have the stories about that, I think, in the podcasts. So yeah. So TIC, final thoughts as we close this season out.
Final thoughts are, it has been a busy year. It has been, and we were talking about this today actually, at breakfast, Emily and I.
I was going to say not you and I.
No, not you and I, me and my partner. This year is the year that we got rid of masks.
Yeah.
How long ago does that feel?
Feels like an eternity.
Yeah. I feel, but that was the beginning of this year.
Yeah, it was.
The beginning of this academic year was we removed masks. I thought, no, it can't have been this year.
Did we start the year teaching with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you think of how long ago that was.
That's blown my mind.
Where we are.
It's literally blown my mind now.
Yeah. When you think about what has happened since then, globally,
just being able to travel again.
Yeah.
Like no COVID checks. Like, nope. I don't miss that. You've opened up a whole can of worms.
Yeah. Not something to go into right now, but just something to think about how life was so different this time last year.
My key takeaway from that is change.
Yeah.
Because the thing that's sparked me off on that is a change we had that huge change in life in terms of what we did and how we did it and how we then taught and how that's then changed or continued over to some extent now. And then the next change, AI, that is going to, I think, continue to change.
What the future holds.
That future of education. That's the big question, isn't it? In terms of,
how long are we going to be needed?
Someone said to me the other day across LinkedIn, in terms of when I was talking about digital skills with staff, and it's like, I've seen the future in terms of what some of these companies are offering. And it's like your traditional role as a teacher just isn't going to be there anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're going to be to do with blended learning and more to do with obviously these online courses, and students can pick and choose when they do things. It's like this whole adage of being more of a facilitator. You're still going to need subject knowledge. You're still going to need a level of expertise and human interaction. But it was quite interesting in terms of where they see that going and how it's going to change and what these companies in the future are going to push out.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
It's been a huge change. So 6 months, this year as a whole has been a huge change, hasn't it? So yeah.
Wild. What a wild ride.
It's blown my mind. That absolutely blown my mind. But to finish with, in terms of like summer-wise, obviously we're going off of that, but people, we want to keep you engaged. We want to keep you sort of here with us as until the new season comes back. How can we keep this conversation going? Season 1, thank you ever so much, by the way, for tuning in and listening and being a part of this journey of the international classroom with myself and Drew and then the guests that have been there. But if they want to stay, they want to keep involved and keep this conversation going even over summer, what are you going to recommend for them?
First of all, it's going to be one of your courses.
Yeah.
I've got to say, even just getting in contact with either of us through LinkedIn or YouTube comments, things like that, if you want to contribute to the conversation, because we say end of season like it's going to be years until we see each other. This isn't Game of Thrones. We're not doing six episodes and then
we're not rushing out season 8 either.
Yeah. Me and Emily finished watching that recently, and she watched the last episode and said, "What on earth was that?" She'd never seen it before, and
there's a huge protest to remake it, wasn't there?
Yeah. Why?
too much blood and gore for.
But yeah, like I say, talk to us.
Yeah, reach out.
We're pretty open guys, you know.
Yeah, reach out to us in terms of both of us. LinkedIn, I love the LinkedIn.
Every comment, I will say, every single comment, especially the ones that say, "Do you remember me, Mr. Owen?" I read every comment.
Yeah, get a lot.
We do. We read every comment and we respond to every comment. Like, it's...
Yeah, these are the ex-students. Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Owen.
the ex-students, yes, I do. I do remember you.
That's what you get. It's none of this, "Hi, Mr. Gray." It's always, "Mr. Owen,
do you remember me?" I remember everyone. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, to have a memorable face like you have. Yeah. But LinkedIn is one. Comment on like the YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Like reach out to us on YouTube and get a few of those. You know, we do respond to everyone. We read them, we respond to them. And the same on Spotify. And this is available across all good streaming platforms, but Spotify is kind of that main one. And we started to use more of our Q&As, sort of to put things out there for you as listeners to interact and engage with us. Because loads of people have questions and queries, don't they, about not just moving out, living and working out, teaching, you know, schools to go to, courses to do, you know.
I did have one fired off question about tattoos and teaching with tattoos in Dubai.
Yeah.
So that was great. Thank you for the listener who messaged me about that.
Years gone by, but now
it's pretty taboo back then. Yeah. When I first moved out here, I was covered head to toe, long sleeve shirts every single day, long sleeve trousers. Now, I mean, I'm heavily tattooed, so I still keep myself covered.
Yeah.
But the odd, I mean, Alex has got a couple on his legs that are quite small, and you wear shorts to work on clothes days and things. So it's not really, if you are not to this extent. But, you know, it's professional judgment as well. Just depends on what your school context is like. If you do have a high level of quite, what's the word? Strictly religious students, then, you know,
context.
It's all about context.
All about context. And again, it's those types of questions that we are here to answer and happy to answer, and, you know, with feet on the ground and years of experience.
Years of experience.
Between us.
Too many years of experience.
Closer to 10 than we are to anything else. Reach out and let us know. But otherwise, guys, I'm going to sign off for now and just say a big thank you. For those of you listening and watching, have a great summer holiday.
A well-deserved one, because if you're listening to this, that means you have had a long year as well.
What does that mean?
Not because
what does
of
that mean
listening
if you're
to
listening
us.
to this for a long year? What does that mean?
It means you're interested in education, and education is a slog, no matter which way you look at it. Yeah, we get the holidays, we get this, we get that, but, you know, there are the nights, parents' evenings, ECAs, things like that. There are the days that you work 18-hour days.
Yep.
And we all have them.
Congratulate yourself. Congratulations to you, Drew.
Thank you very much. Congratulations for you on a new business, and we might see you on Startup Sandpits in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, Oh yeah, definitely. That's a story for another time. Yeah, another time. But otherwise, guys, stay safe travels. Have a fantastic summer. And if you do see us out and about in the malls or in places like that, had a few, come and say hi.
Yeah.
Happy to say hello.
We're friendly people, unless it's a Sunday morning very early and it's been a late Saturday night.
Yeah, don't interrupt me in the middle of a set in the gym. Another question, another time. But for that, thank you, Drew, for this.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's been a pleasure.
You have a good summer.
You too, buddy.
Yeah.
Woo. Bye, guys.
Hi, bye. Awesome.